Good morning, everybody. Oh, everybody's silent. Good morning. How you doing? I heard you guys have been busy for a couple of 3, 4 days, right? So you've been busy with all these legal issues, eh? I really understand because part of my families are lawyers. They always tell me, Bright, court case takes a lot of time. Well, I'm into theater, and so in theater, it takes a lot of time, but it's also fun. Because when we are on stage in the theater, we are like lawyers, but we are defending our characters. You know, whether the character is a criminal, it doesn't matter. You want to present this character as sympathetic as possible so that the public will like the character. So, I come originally from Liberia in Africa, and everything we do in Africa, we start with dancing. So, have you guys danced today? Have you guys danced the last 3 days? Not yet. Okay, so then let's just do a little exercise, because if we do not do that, then the gods will not be happy. And when the gods are not happy, then we're going to lose this case. Okay, so are you guys ready? Yeah? Okay, we're going to do a couple of things just to wake up ourselves. When I say a word, when I say maku makuba, that is a Malian word, you will say ha, ha. Are you ready? Maku makuma. Maku makuma. When I say ha, ha, you will say ha, ha. Maku makuma. Maku makuma. Ha, ha. Ha, ha. Oh, that's going well, but it's still too soft. Ha, 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 ha. So you have to put some more energy, you know, more energy. Okay, are you ready? Okay, let me hear all the guys in the hall, only the men, and let me hear your bass. Eh? Makuma kuma. Good so. Makuma kuma. Ha, ha. Yeah, okay, now let me hear the ladies now. Eh? Please, more bass. Eh? The guys, makuma kuma. Ha, ha. Makuma kuma. Ha, ha, ha. Oh, that's going the right direction. So we're going to do a few things more just to invite the gods to come. We're going to do just one simple thing. I'm going to play music. I'm going to do some certain movement. You stand up. You do the same with me. And then I'm going to point to somebody. You come in front of here, and you do the same. So everybody is going to come. Those who don't, even if you are behind, you're going to. So lawyers dance, do they not? Do lawyers dance? Can lawyers dance, or can they dance? Yeah, well, okay. Okay. So I did the first movement, you're going to do the second one, everybody's going to join you. Great? Okay. I go first, and then Giovanni go. Then you just change the movement, it doesn't matter. Okay, are you ready? No, yeah, and now you go. Great. You have to do the same movement like Giovanni, eh? Yeah, you go. It's okay. We just follow you. Yeah, everybody will follow you. Okay. Great. Thank you very much. Let's do that. It's okay. Thank you, Giovanni. It's okay. We're true. Okay. I guess I've used 7 of my minutes. But I come from Africa, and normally we do not have the watch in Africa. We have another kind of time. I want to take you to why, when I was 12 years old, one of my dreams was to become a lawyer. And the reason I wanted to be a lawyer had to do with certain experience that I had. I was 12 when I was first put in prison. It was a very small prison like this. I was in this prison with other prisoners. Some of them were politicians who were against the government. And I was heavily beaten, and I was put in this prison together with my brothers. And while I was in this prison, I saw people crying. My body was bleeding, but I actually didn't want to cry. I couldn't cry because I was really feeling all this pain in my body. I wanted to talk to the other people in this prison, but nobody was willing to talk. They were all crying, they were all weeping, and none of them dared, nobody wanted to talk. Well, later, the same day, my mother came to the prison because my brothers were all busy with politics, students. They wanted to change the country. My mother came to the same prison, and she came there. She brought along the governor of our state. And the military men who were there, who put us in prison, said to my mother, if we knew that these children were from you, we wouldn't have done this. So when I left that prison, I thought, my God, if I'm going to become a lawyer one day, I'm going to fight for the rights of people. I'm going to fight for the rights of people who do not have the opportunity to defend themselves. I'm going to fight against governments who takes the opportunity to abuse others because they know nobody is going to stand for them. But as I grew up, I realized that being a lawyer can be very dangerous. So I choose to become an actor because nobody takes actors seriously anyway. So I choose to become an actor, and I started making theater because I knew when I made theater, people do not take me seriously, and I will not be put in prison. So my friends who were journalists end up in prison, those who were lawyers end up in prison, and I was free because I was making comedy, and I was doing all these kind of things in Liberia. That's okay. What happened? One day, on the 24th of December, 1989, with my theater group, I was celebrating that we had a wonderful year, when all of a sudden, on the radio, the program Focus on Africa from the BBC, I heard that Charles Taylor has invaded his country, and that his militia were controlling the eastern part of the nation. I thought, this is a joke. I looked outside, nothing has changed. But the months that followed, in the whole country, there was no wind, there was no water, there was no air. And we started seeing bodiless earths on the streets. The earth gradually changed into blood. And more and more, we didn't have tears anymore to cry for the dead. Our lungs were breathing every day poisonous gas. Our glorious land of liberty that we thought we created fell. But even during this war, I thought I can survive. But every day, you start seeing things. There was like one day I stood, and I was just looking at this place where this execution was going to take place. I saw this man brought forward, they were handcuffed, placed on the bars, tied. They were tied to these woods, and the military men came and they started executing these people. I was looking at these people, and I knew that one of these men could be innocent, because one of the men that was killed was actually an acquaintance of my father. My father was working in the criminal investigation department of the police. He was a very good acquaintance of my father. But they said, well, he was doing a lot of things, he was killing people. But because I had this experience in the prison when I was 12, I always feel that most of those people I see in all this execution, that perhaps one of them could be innocent, but there is nobody to defend them from the allegation that was put on them. So the war happened. The war became even more intense. At first I thought, I'm not going to leave the country, I'm going to be here. But one day, I was taken for execution myself. I went to search for food, donuts. And when I went to search for food, I went to a girlfriend of mine, and she gave me donuts, and I was going back. I was going back home, but a friend came around the corner, and he was holding this AK-47. He aimed it at me, and he told me, "Put off your clothes." And there I stood, naked, and he told me to go and stand very far from him. But there are this kind of stories that goes on during the war, that if you stand far from the rebels, they easily can shoot you. But if you stand very close, they are also afraid that when your blood touches them, then they believe they have magical powers, that the magical powers would disappear, and then they can die. Then they become vulnerable, because then the blood comes very close. I mean, psychologically, you can understand that they will not forget you. Because normally when they shoot you from a distance, then they do not see you. Then you just an image, something like that. They do not see you. But when you are very close, then the image of you as somebody dying cannot leave them. And that's why they do not want to kill you when you are at close range. So I was standing very close to him, and he would push me back. I would stand close to him, he would push me back. And at the end of the day, somebody came around, and this person was really pleading for me. I don't know the guy. I've never seen him before, but he pled for me, and he said, please, let him go, let him leave. And because he took that stand, I don't know him, he wasn't a lawyer, I don't know him, I've never seen him, I will never see him again. And because he pleaded, the rebels allowed me to go. And when I escaped this moment of execution, my family said to me, Bright, now you have to leave this country immediately. And so, luckily, they did some arrangement with some UN soldiers, and I could leave the country. Leaving the country was the first thing, and then after leaving the country, well, I got some help to come to Europe. It was not easy to come to Europe because first I tried at Lufthansa, but they did not believe my fake visa. And I tried at British Airways, but they did not also. They said, no, your visa is not good, your passport is not good. But the only airline that did not doubt on my fake visa was the KLM. So they gave me the boarding pass and they said, have a nice trip. And actually I was trying to go to Canada because I thought when I go to Canada, then I would just cross in and meet my other families in the States. When I got to Schiphol, I got two options. They said, either you ask for asylum or you go to prison. Well, it wasn't so difficult decision to make, so I asked for asylum. And when you ask for asylum, you're placed in a place called, we call it in Holland, Asielzoeker Centrum. It's an asylum seeker center. And in this asylum seeker center, you do three things. You eat, you sleep, and you watch television. You eat, you sleep, and you watch television. And, you know, I had my first case at the airport for more than 8 hours. There was no lawyer. Nobody was there. But it didn't matter because I didn't want to go to prison anyway. So whatever question they asked, you just give an answer. You want to get out. But you sleep, you eat, and you sleep, you eat, and you watch television. And sometimes you do this for 2 years. And then you get the decision finally, then they say, then you are told you have to leave the country. Oh, okay, you can make an appeal. You make an appeal, you continue eating, sleeping, and watching television. And so one day I thought, this is nonsense. I grew up as a child. I was busy since when I was a child, doing all kinds of things, debating, trying to fight for children's rights, trying to fight for women's rights, you know, making television, doing theater. And why am I only sleeping, eating, and watching television? Because some kind of stupid government told me you have to wait for our decision to start your life. I find it completely not acceptable. How can I be in one of the most richest country in the world and I'm allowed to do nothing? It's not right. So I thought there's something wrong about this system. So I decided to do something which was not allowed in my asylum seeker center. I bought a camera, a photo camera, which was, you know, with the money I got, and I started making pictures of the other refugees in the center. And I was selling, because I discovered that you can print the photograph for 39 Gilder cents, and I could sell the photograph for 75 cents. I was not allowed to work, but I was making pictures, and I was earning a lot of money. And with the money I would make, I would also organize every weekend a talent show for all the people in the asylum center. And it was fun doing it. And after doing that, I discovered something else. While doing that, I discovered something that most refugees or even undocumented migrants do not want to be seen as refugees, asylum seekers, or undocumented migrants, but they want to be seen as people with talent, people with qualities, people who want to contribute to the society. So having done that, I was noticed while I was doing that by somebody, and they introduced me to a music festival in Nijmegen, and there I started working again as a presenter. And standing on that stage in Nijmegen, like I'm standing here, I got a lot of self-confidence, and I thought, if I can do this, then I can practice my old profession again. And luckily for me, I found somebody that borrowed me then, in that time, 200 guilders, and I went to make a film. The film I sent to the Film Academy. I wrote some scenarios. I sent it to the Film Academy. And I went to the theater school as well. I didn't have a resident permit, but I went to the theater school and said, okay, I want to play theater here. And they told me then you have to do some Dutch stuff, like the Gijsberg from Amstel. You guys would know it, but it's like old Dutch Shakespeare. I learned the text. I did it. They didn't understand it, but when nobody understands you in Europe, then you are an artist. So I did this stuff, and I was admitted. And then we had a second problem. The school said, we cannot register you, because when we register you, we are breaking the law. If you don't have a resident permit, and we register you, we are breaking the law. We may not get money from the government. But I said, I just want to learn. I just want to study, and I just want to interact with other students, and not only with asylum seekers. So sometimes you have to help the authorities to think out of the box. So even sometimes you have to help the citizens in the country who are against the policies of the government to think out of the box. You have to empower the people. So, well, talking with the school, everything, alternatives were found, and I could study. I started studying. But in order to, I started studying, before I went to study, I did something. I went to the shop and I bought for myself, because when I left Liberia, what I missed most was my public. I had fans, I had a public, but when I came to Europe, I didn't have a public again. So, and because you're given, when you come to Europe as an asylum seeker or you're an undocumented migrant, you only hear you are not allowed to do this, you are not allowed to do this. If you do this, you'll be put in prison. You kind of feel you are in a prison. And most times you're really in a prison. Even when they put you out of the prison, you still feel you are in the prison. So what I decided to do, I was a celebrity in Liberia. I decided to become a kind of celebrity for myself here in Holland. So what I did, I went to the shop and I bought for myself a pair of typical Dutch wooden shoes. So for more than 3 years, when I just came to Holland, I would walk the streets in every city with my wooden shoes. I would go to the police. So even the police knew me, I would even go and look for jobs, which I was not allowed to do. But because that was what also I noticed when I was in the war, that when I was living in the Civil War, is that you have to always go after the public. Because most times when you are being oppressed, they want you to stay far. They don't want you to get publicity when you're being oppressed. But the thing that would save you is to go after the publicity. So wearing my wooden shoe gave me a big publicity. So even the mayors would like to be with me on the photograph. And nobody cared whether I had a resident permit or didn't have a resident permit. Nobody cared about it, because I became like a celebrity. But after my studies, I discovered something. I discovered that many other refugees were in the same situation like I was, but they didn't have the opportunity, they did not have the possibility. They don't have the same creative mind like I had, and I decided to do something, and that was where I started doing some projects, which is now called the Future Academy. So I'm now busy in different asylum centers in Holland with the Future Academy. And my aim is to empower young people, to make sure that they do not waste their time in these asylum centers, and make sure that they do not waste their time, but that they keep developing themselves on a personal level, on a professional level. I believe that the young migrants who come to Europe, they are the human resource for the corporate life of tomorrow, whether it is here in Europe, whether it's in their country of origins. But if we just keep these people out of society like we are doing right now, if we keep them out of the market like we are doing right now, if we do not give them the opportunity to meet people like you, like it is being done right now, then they would not develop themselves. Then they would remain in this society, and then politicians will have the opportunity to say, oh, they are criminals, they are this, but they forget that they are the ones who created them, who transformed them to become criminals. So I decided to do something. I said, okay, I will reach out to people, I will reach out to companies, I will reach out to individuals who want to make a difference in the life of these undocumented migrants or young asylum seekers. I will reach out to them and I will give them the opportunity to meet these young asylum seekers and to contribute towards their personal and their professional development. And that is what I'm doing right now in different cities, both for the migrants who have resident permit and those who are still waiting for a resident permit and those who have heard from the government that they have to leave the country. I'm not a lawyer, but I believe in the power of the law because I've seen working with a few lawyers right now, it really helps us a lot because, you know, I had a friend, and I'm going to conclude because my African time is over, I think. I had a friend, and he was studying here to become a doctor. And at first he was in procedure, and then he got out of procedure, but he was still in the medical school. And so the government wanted to get him out of the country, and he said, I just want to become a doctor. When I become a doctor, I can go everywhere. And I was working there with a lawyer who really helped me in, lawyers can do a lot of things. They can make the case go long, they can make it short, they can do a lot of things. And we are living in a legal society. So working together with lawyers, I find out that it's very helpful to us because it don't only help the refugees to understand that they have rights. Most times people deal with them as if they do not have rights, also the undocumented migrants. But it also helps the refugees to see the possibilities that they have to develop themselves and to get the best out of themselves. So I'm grateful to be here today, and I will still be here. I should have left very quickly, but I'm still here. So if you're interested in working with us, please, I will still be around. It's been great being here. I've enjoyed it so far, listening to speeches about, you know, children's rights, also coming up for other people who normally do not get legal help. So I want to thank you for this time. I would like to end up with a poem that I wrote. In 2010. I would like to share that with you and end with that. I no longer want to imprison myself because of all that I find difficult to tell. I no longer want to run from a world I do not understand. I no longer want to be afraid of the dark, afraid of the night, afraid to be cast out. If the world therefore find me strange, let them find me strange. But I must enter these rooms which have long been too closed. I must embrace this unknown part of myself. I must make all my dirty rivers sweet. I want to fly once more as a dove. Thank you.